right. Thanks, everyone, for being here. We'll open up today's press conference. Third row right, Dylan Davis. Dylan, where is that?
Well, I already talked about an identity starting to forge for your team. I guess how would you characterize that identity? And is it normal that it takes this long for an identity to kind of start to come together?
Well, I think our team, has had an identity from the get-go. I think on offense, you're starting to see it forge itself a little bit more on the offensive side of the ball, probably. But this team plays hard, plays physical. It's got great leadership, and on offense, I think that you just see in the combination of the run game and the ball on the perimeter. When you have all the weapons back, and now Kyle's got a bunch of games under his belt. Offensive line, is making progress every week. So I think all that comes into play.
Spencer Holbrook, Letterman Road.
Ryan, when you reevaluate the offensive line right now and watch what Donovan's doing, is he playing his best football right now? And where have you seen the most growth from him from last year to start this year?
Yeah, I think so. He's created champion here the last couple of weeks. And, everyone's looking to play their best football now. But, it's the combination of run game and pass game. You have to be able to do both. And, it's different when you have two new guys on both sides of you there. It's just the combination blocks, the communication, how you handle movement in the pass game, how you handle movement in the run game. So I think a little bit of it's that. A little bit of it's just, now he's into his next year of maturity. He's seen a lot more. And, we're going to need him to play really well down the stretch.
That contributed to the struggles of the offensive line early in the year, that you had two starters back, but both of them were surrounded by each side of them a new guy?
I don't know. I think there was probably a lot of things that along the journey that has taken us to where we are right now. But I know that anytime if somebody new next to you, there's an adjustment phase there. But I do think that they're more and more comfortable every single time they're out there. And now that we're into November, they've got a good body of work under their belt. So now we're expecting them to go play the best.
Cameron T. Robinson, the Athletic.
Ryan, you guys ran that split back set with Chip and Xavier in the backfield a decent amount on Saturday. Just what benefit does that give you? I mean, I guess obviously now you're healthier. So you play Chip and have Trey come off the bench there, but just how much of a benefit does it give you to play hard to know you can do a little bit of both Chip and Xavier?
Yeah, those guys can do multiple things, and anytime you see that, it can bring a lot of different variables to the table. You look at the way that Cade's running routes and blocking and protection. Same thing with G. Scott. You're seeing our receivers get involved with the run game. You're seeing multiple receivers carry the ball. You saw Marvin carry the ball. You see X carry the ball. You've seen Emeka carry the ball. You're seeing Trey line up as a receiver at times. I mean, all those things, help you when you're trying to attack a defense when they can do multiple things.
Getting him in the backfield, because usually if he runs a route, you're going to have a linebacker on. How much of a benefit is that, knowing his versatility, but you can have him in the backfield as well? Yeah,
no, he's a mismatch in a lot of different areas, and that's our job as coaches to put him in those situations and try to find creative ways to get those matchups. But ultimately it comes down to blocking and taking care of the football and executing. But anytime we can put these guys in situations like that, that kind of like I think the one you're talking about is the throw down the sideline there, and kind of got set up after a couple of runs that way. And the guys put it on the field well, did a good job protecting it, and they did a nice job there. And if you watch the film, I think Marvin was double covered there, so that really opened up Xavier on the linebacker.
Stephen Means, Cleveland.com.
Just going back to when you first saw Kyle as a recruit, what about him did you like? What stood out from the get-go that made you want to offer him? Yeah,
you saw his productive play on the field. You saw his size, his arm strength, intelligence, and just had a good way of leadership with the players. The guys in his class, he was the first one to jump on board and then brought a lot of guys with him. Once he got in the building, he was with Marv and Emeka in here on the drawing board right away, learning the offense and getting involved, throwing with those guys, great work ethic. So all of those things, led to it.
He's 10 games into this season as a starter and coming off a game like he had last week. Is there anything that can help build confidence. Just seeing the ball guys just go through the hoop in the game that he had on Saturday.
Yeah. I think every time you're out there, you gain more and more confidence because it's not new anymore, and then it slows down. So I think the last couple of games has started out finding the speed of the game really well, much more efficient early on, and that's led us to get, certainly in this last game, getting good momentum. And then I thought it was great to get a 2-minute drive going, at the end of the first half.
Those traits that you saw in him as a recruit started to maybe show up more and more this year.
I think so. Yeah, I think you're starting to see that more and more. Yes.
Dave Biddle, 24/7 Sports.
Devin Brown got hurt during warm-ups. How's he coming along? Fluke injury, I know, right? But how's he coming along?
He's all right. Just a bit of a setback there in the warm-ups, but hoping to see he get back on the field this week and survive warm-ups.
I guess the good news is, yeah, there you go. The good news, I guess, is Lincoln was able to get in there and get his feet wet. I know it was very small sample size. What'd you see out of Lincoln?
Just in the couple snaps he was out there, it didn't look too big for him. I just thought he belonged. He's still trying to figure it all out. He got an earful for the first time on the field after one of the plays, which was good. And he had an answer. I liked it. He came right back with why he did what he did. But we'll see. It's just a start, but it was just good to see him out there getting some plays under his belt. And, there was some good plays he had out there.
Ryan, I wanted to clarify on Lathan. Is he out for the season, or is there still a chance he could come back?
There's a chance he can come back, this year. But it doesn't look like it's going to be any time in the next couple of weeks.
And Mike Hall, he only played a couple series, then left the game. Was that injury related, and what's his status?
I don't really have an update on Mike right now.
Pat Murphy, 24/7 Sports.
Ryan, I know the last couple of games you've gotten production from other guys, but as Emeka has worked his way back, are you seeing what you need to see from him, or is he still, kind of recovering from that injuries? The statistics haven't been what they were before he got.
He's getting stronger and stronger each week. We decided to hold him in the second half to continue that progress, but he's getting as closer every week to being 100. And feedback I got this week was that he feels better this week than he did last week, and that's the goal. Look more explosive on film in this past game, and so we'll keep bringing him along. Everything that our folks say here is just keep pushing him, keep getting that thing stronger, keep working, and he's getting stronger every single week. So, hopefully we take another step this week, and we're as close as we can to 100%.
And as you go through that list of guys that have been contributing, Cade, Travion, obviously Marv, I assume he fits right in with that group when he can be his normal self.
Oh yeah. No, I think Emeka is one of the best receivers in the entire country, and his production proves it. We are a different offense when he's in the game.
Bill Landis, the podcast.
Right, you guys gave Matthew Jones maybe a series or two at center the other day. What went into that decision? I don't think he's ever played center in a game before. So what did you want to get a look at there?
Yeah, I forget if he had or not. I don't remember, but I know we worked him at center at times, and we just felt like at that time it was good to get him some work at center, and just get Enoch in the game and just see what that looked like in a game. We had a pretty comfortable lead at that point and felt like it was good to do. Evaluated it, and then there was some good snaps there. So, it's always good to kind of, in an opportunity like that, go see if we needed to make a change, what that would look like.
I guess along those lines, you said the offensive line continues to make progress. What is your evaluation of the center position specifically with Carson? Because it seems like maybe his progression is a little farther behind the rest of that group.
I think he's the youngest. So, he's probably made, from where he started to where he is now, he's made certainly a bunch of progress, but he's also the youngest. So, he's in here every day. He's busting his tail to get better. And, he's handled some difficult environments, so far this year as a redshirt freshman. So, we think that he's got a very bright future ahead of him, and he's going to continue to get stronger and better across the board. His communication, all those things. So every time he's out there, it's an investment in his future.
The idea of playing Matt, is there any thought there that maybe you'd want to move to that look full time? Or are you comfortable with your normal starting five?
Yeah, right now we're going to continue to move forward as we have. But every week we're evaluating to see what gives us the best chance to win. So, but as of right now, we're going to continue to where we're at right now.
Tony Bergman, Buckeye Huddle.
Ryan, with the idea that you need to be playing your best in November, is your offense doing that right now? And where are they in relation to what you envisioned before the season?
I think that the first half you saw, some efficient play and finished drives, third downs, red zone. I thought there was some very well executed plays. I thought the reverse to Marvin was really well executed. I thought there was just a bunch of plays protection wise that gave Kyle some time. The timing, the throws were pretty high level. The second touchdown to Marvin was a throw and catch was excellent. Travion stepped up in a big way and helped in protection. But he did a nice job on 2 or 3 of the plays. Actually, 2 of the touchdown passes to Marvin, he did a really nice job in protection. And that was the most excited guy on the field, which goes to show you his unselfishness and how he's getting better every game as an all-purpose player. But, I mean, I think you see what we're capable of. And it was good to see us play a full half right there and play and execute. And, again, finish with the 2-minute drive there. So all those things are encouraging at this point.
Caleb Spinner, Buckeyes Now on Sports Illustrated.
Coach, Saturday, obviously, game against Minnesota, another chance to remain undefeated, but it's also a chance to honor some of the players who won't be coming back next year. What have the seniors, fifth years, graduates all meant to you during your time here at Ohio State?
Well, a good portion of them, started when I that first year when I became the head coach, and so they've been just soldiers along the way, and mean so much to me and my family, to the staff, to the university. So I try to tell those guys all the time when we have home games, don't wait till the last one to take it all in. Starts from that first home game of your senior year. So I hope they've taken that advice. But when you have your last game there is a lot of emotions. So the good news is they got a team that's playing with confidence. There's leadership that they've shown, and they have an opportunity to really leave a legacy behind here over the next month. So happy that they're going to get recognized in that moment, and they deserve it.
Far left, Nathan Barrett, Cleveland.com.
So a year ago, losing someone like Lathan, maybe at this stage of the season, would have seemed pretty devastating. Not that you guys won't miss him this year too, but there also seems to be a structure here where you can maybe absorb that a little bit better. And how much of what you kind of tasked Perry and Tim with doing this past offseason was getting this defensive back group to this point, and how you feel like they accomplished that?
Well, I think you evaluate everything at the end of the season, but everybody's responsible to make sure that they have production at their position and then depth along the way. You can't go pick anybody up off of waivers in college football, so you have to build depth, and there's a bunch of different ways to do that. But a big part of it is development, and certainly we're going to miss Lathan, but our guys are confident, with the guys in the room, and so we're just going to forge forward and with the guys that we have, and challenge those guys to play at a high level.
Obviously, Sonny has done a lot of things, good things for you in that nickel position, playing close to the ball. Just as someone from an offensive standpoint, looking at him, how can he also still help you guys a lot at Bandit or Lathan as well?
Yeah, he's got a lot of versatility and can do many things, but it's going to be important for the other guys to step up in those areas where, where does he fit in? And, you just have to feel good at all the other spots back there. And then Sonny, can take on a lot of responsibility, but we also want to make sure that he's playing fast and doing a great job. So we don't want to overload him, but at the same time, he can do a lot. And that's important for the guys around him to make sure that they're, playing at championship level.
Ryan, Jelani Thurman had his first catches last weekend with Joby now, and can't ever miss the game. Just where's Jelani at as far as kind of his development and how he can help you down the stretch?
Well, we got to make sure that if he flashes a first down, he actually gets it. So that's the first coaching point for Jelani. And so I think Coach Bailey said, okay, that's enough of that, Jelani. Let's just catch the ball and hand the ball to the official. So that was the first coaching point. But it was great to see him out there. You can see his athleticism, size, power. You can see him, he's got really good hands. He's got a very bright future ahead of him. He understands that the tight end position is a developmental position, but he's put a year in now. So, he's going to get to the point where he's going to get on the field here real soon. And the talent is there. And if he continues on the same path that he's on, he's going to have a special career here at Ohio State.
And You said Tommy was week to week. How's he look for this week? And same with Josh Proctor.
Yeah, expecting to have a good week of practice for both of those guys, and we'll have a better idea as we get towards the end of the week.
Austin Moore, podcast.
Ryan, are senior day decisions binding in this era with all the extra COVID years and everything? We've seen, Josh participate in the past. Like, is that actually going to be the way it looks like, or if they make a decision to walk, they can still retain that option?
Yeah, they can. If they're eligible, then we certainly allow them the option to do it, and then kind of go from there. Like you said, it's, I guess, a lot different than it was a decade ago.
How everything's complicated in your position, but in terms of managing roster numbers and decisions in this time of year, and everybody's trying to weigh that, like, how clear is the picture for you or not with what? I know you want to win on Saturday first and foremost, but
Right.
you always have to keep an eye on the future. How difficult is that for you right now?
There's a lot of things in the balance, I would say, but maybe just try to plan ahead and make sure you have contingency plans in place, whether it's high school recruiting, whether it's, in the portal, those type of things. And I think the rules have made it such that you should be able to now adjust pretty quickly, based on some of the legislation that's been passed. So Mark's working hard to make sure we have everything planned and ready for that. But our focus, as you know, is right now in this game and preparing for Minnesota and continuing to build on the confidence that this team is playing with right now. But certainly there's a lot of folks working on that here in-house to make sure that when December comes, we're ready to roll.
And just for the record, folks, we'll put out a release later in the week, Friday, somewhere around there, of the guys that'll be walking on Saturday. Tom Taberry, WBNS.
Coach, Marvin Harrison for Heisman, you think he's deserving, and what does he mean to this ball club?
I think I've said it before that the Heisman Trophy goes to the most outstanding player in the country. I know there's a lot of great players out there. I get to see him every day. I think he is the most outstanding player in the country. And he's, right from the jump, came in with a work ethic that, really is transcended throughout the whole team, just what he's done and now his production as well. So, he wants to be great. I know that. You can just tell it, and his actions back that up. And, certainly his production speaks for itself on the field and what he's doing, and he makes everybody on that field better.
Saturday, Minnesota, obviously the number one goal is to win the game. But there's just 2 games to go in this season, the regular season. How important is it? What do you want to see out of your club, I guess, as far as just everything on point?
Well, just continuing to build on confidence. And, our second goal of the season, first goal is to win the first one. Second goal is to win the next 10. So we have to complete that goal here on Saturday. And, we have to stay focused on that. And that's the bottom line. Have to play really hard, really fast, really physical like we did this past Saturday. And, PJ does a really good job. Minnesota is well coached. I really respect what PJ does as a coach and their program and their culture, and they're going to come in here and play really hard. So we have to match that. And, it's a Big Ten road or a Big Ten, game here in November. And, so we have to do a great job of preparing for it like any other game. It has no bearing what's coming down the future. We got to be on point right now and continue to build on our future. And that's it. So starts with Tuesday today. We'll have a team meeting here at 2:30 and we get back to work.
Do you like a rah-rah quarterback, very, I don't know, or prefer the composure of maybe a Kyle McCord? And do you try to pass it along, just given what they have to navigate in those few seconds between play to play?
Yeah, I think every quarterback has to, it's like being a golfer. You have to carry different clubs in your bag. And sometimes you have to have that composure. Sometimes you got to bark. Sometimes you got to put your arm around somebody. There's always different parts of the game that you have to be able to utilize, the right skill set. And to say, well, I lead this way, well, that's a cop-out. You have to be able to, handle situations and people differently. But at the same time, you have to be yourself. You can't be someone else. And I think that's what we communicate to our players in terms of their leadership.
Adam King, WBNS.
You said in Skull Section on Saturday, it's been a long road back to November, and you've talked about stars in the past. Obviously, the goal is to win, the first game in the next 10, and then beat
that team. I'm curious, how much are you guys talking about right now that you are here? This is everything you've worked for since you walked off the field. Beach Bowl.
Yeah, no, we talk about it. We have the last, since we entered in November, we know that we want to be playing our best football in November. And you can get through this, go through the season where, the days seem long, but the weeks go by real fast. And then here you are at the end of the season. And so urgency has to be at an all-time high. We know we got to be on point, and we got to be playing our best right now. And I think the guys feel that, they understand that. And so we got to be better than everybody else in the country of just focusing on maximizing ourselves, doing a great job preparing for Minnesota, and, ignoring everything else that comes around what, this time of year is like.
Doug Lavery, Kings of the North.
You talk about wanting to play your best football in November a lot. Have you felt like in your time here that Ohio State has done that you've been at your best in November? And was there anything, I don't know, that you thought about this past offseason to say, hey, we really want to make sure that we're, ascending at the end of this? Did you change anything that you feel like is coming to fruition now?
I feel like we have, but I also feel every year you just, your messaging and you evaluate things, just, how you want to messaging it to the team, that it is a build as the season goes on. And I think the guys can feel that. It's been clearly communicated that way, that we've got to build every week, and that momentum, and, it kind of snowballs over time, the consistency of everything that you're doing on a daily basis, so that we're, at our best at the end of the season. And so it's just been, a messaging point to the team, something that we can, tangibly, like, almost grab onto, that, hey, we're getting better every week, and we know we got to be at our best at the end of the season, because that's when it matters the most.
Bill Rabinowitz, Columbus Dispatch.
You were asked, Bill asked you about Carson Hinzman. Josh Simmons has actually been here less time. Obviously, he's played at San Diego State last year. It seems like he's developing some, progressing some. I want to get your assessment of where he is right now.
Yeah, no, he's certainly is progressing. You can see the talent. When some unbelievable clips, just feet, power, hands, it's all there. And so it's, every week it's coming together a little bit more for him. And same thing, just like a quarterback, it starts to slow down, all the different things that go on. And so he can be as good as he wants to be.
How much do you want to get to 7:00 on Saturday? And what will that be like?
I think, the first thing is, when you start to get ahead of yourself, you lose focus on right now. And I think that's the challenge, is making sure you stay in the moment, because there's nothing you can do other than maximize right now. And that's what we're going to do. And when 7:00 comes on Saturday, 7:00 will come, and we'll go from there.
Andy Backstrom, Letterman Row.
Ryan, after the game, you mentioned Calvin Simpson was a guy who flashed to you. Watching back to tape, what other players flashed to you maybe in that second?
I thought Jermaine Matthews, again, got his hand on the ball, ran down on special teams, did a good job there. It was good to see Jelani make that catch. It was good to see Lincoln, handle himself well. Trying to think of who else. Malik Harford, for his first start, I thought, did some really good things, graded out a champion. That was great. I'd say those are probably the guys that stick out right offhand.
You guys talk about stealing possessions. Can that be on third down defense too? And do you feel like that's going to help this offense hit its stride recently?
Yeah, I think when you're playing complementary football, you're getting off the field, and the offense is getting down and finishing drives. Yeah, I mean that's when you're working at full capacity. And third down is a huge part of the game. And when you're getting off the field and forcing punts and giving the offense good field position, that's the difference between winning and losing.
Jeremy Birmingham, the podcast.
Right. Philosophically, you guys are a month away from signing the early signing period. There's tons of things going on around the program, game week preparation, all that. How hard is it as a staff to keep on top of every little blip on the recruiting trail when kids, random tweets and all kids taking visits elsewhere? Like, how much conversation are you guys having about it? How do you handle it as a staff with those players, their families, et cetera?
Yeah, just communication is the key. And, that's the other thing is, this time of year and all year, you have to communicate, even though you're in the teeth of the season. It's important that you win. I mean, that's huge, but you also have to be communicating and making sure that you're on top of all the recruiting part of it, because what I've learned is, November, and then as you get into December, as you get closer to the signing period, there's a lot of twists and turns along the way. And so you just have to be steady, but obviously constant and really, really good in communication.
This past Saturday, was there any thought to getting Lincoln in the game earlier? If Devin was ready to go, would he have been in earlier? Because it seemed like he took out a lot of the weapons at the 10-minute mark of the third quarter, but left Kyle on the starting offensive line out there. Was that just because the backup quarterback situation was different on Saturday, or was there any thought about putting Lincoln out there at that point?
Yeah, probably. You don't know what you're going to get till you go out there, and it was probably midway through the third quarter. I felt like there was a lot of football left. At that point, we hadn't had Lincoln in the game, so we didn't know what that was going to look like. So we decided to probably hang on a little bit longer. And then we started that drive. And then after we got a couple first downs, decided it was the right time to put Lincoln in the game. If Devin was available, he probably would have been in the game a little bit sooner.
The conversation you had with him where you got the earful of the third down pass? Where
Yes.
Yes.
And we'll wrap things up with Tim May on 3 and the Tim May podcast.
Thank you, Jerry. Are you guys North America's team? Are y'all Buckeye Nation's team? Are y'all Ohio's team? Whose team are y'all?
It's a good question. I think I can tell you this, that our guys, and I think someone said it before about just, it's been a long road to get to November, and each team has its own identity. Each team has its own dynamics, has its own journey, and so here we are, in November, and I can tell you this, coming to work every day with these guys, I mean, the consistency, the maturity, the competitiveness, the look in their eye. This is a great team to be around. Great guys. And, I go back to this. It's about these guys on a team. It's about the guys that put on the line every single Saturday, on the game and put the work in here. And so, we're going to do it again this week and keep swinging.
Like Saturday, did you feel like like you go in a restaurant sometimes, there are all these things on the menu, but you can't go there because you don't have that. They don't have that in stock right now. Did you feel like you were looking at as close to a full menu? We asked you a little bit about this after the game, but what is that like for you to have those options available to you? Do you have to control yourself of, let's focus on this, let's get the two back look in there? You know what I mean? How do you approach those kind of things, right?
Well, I think the first thing is you have to make sure you're doing what's best for the team to win the game. That's got to be the first thing, and that has to be the focus, because like you said, sometimes you can get yourself spread real thin and out of whack and out of rhythm. So you have to find that rhythm. And then you try to find different ways that can put the defense in stress. You heard me say that before. And then set things up along the way by putting guys in position to be successful and identifying what guys do really well. And that's really what it comes down to. But at the same time, not sacrificing, the team. Like even at the end of the first half there, it was 3rd and 7. And, we threw a bubble screen to Marv. And if we don't get that, we punt, but we got it. And then it was like, okay, we're going to shift this thing into the next gear and go. And we weren't down scored. Because at that point, I think it was 28-3 would have been a good halftime score and then come out in the second half and play. But so you always have to make sure that you're being aggressive, you're attacking, but you're going to do what's best for the team first.
And listen, at this point in the year, 10-0, what is keeping you up at night? I don't even know if you sleep much at night. Maybe you do, but is it players' injuries? Is it bringing guys online? Are they up to it? Is it a guy not coming off a double team when you could have popped Travion there, coming off the goal line on that one play? You understand what I'm saying? These little mistakes, whatever. Is it the fact that coaching jobs are coming open around the country right now? You've got a staff that people would probably like to tap. What is it? All of that? I mean, and are you getting much sleep at this point?
Well, it's like they say, when some people rest, you stay restless. And I think that's it. You got to continue to work at all of these things because there's so many things going on. And that's our job, is just to, constantly do everything you can to maximize what you have and communicate really well and get the issues fixed that need to get addressed. And that's it. And then when it's time to go play, we get on the field. But, each week has its new set of challenges. Every year has its new set of issues. and you just deal with them the best you possibly can and bust your tail. So, by the time you get to Friday night and you get to bed before the game, I mean, yeah, you're exhausted because, you've just burned the midnight oil, making sure that you do everything you possibly can to win the game. Yep. Thanks, guys.
All right, good job, people. It's good practice for next week.
Oh, this was a
Hi, Dave. Oh, I thought you were waving. Thought you were waving at me.
All right. We will open up the floor with Dave Biddle, 24/7 Sports.
If Mike is unable to go this week, who are some other D tackles that can step up in addition to Tyleek and Ty, like Hero Canoe, for example? Who are some guys that might step up?
Yeah, I think Hero has made a lot of progress. He really has. He made a big play last week, I think, right? Like a third down stop on a running play. So he's a guy I look at. You know, Jaden McKenzie's got a lot of experience too. You know, so he's got that experience that you need to be able to count on in a tough situation.
Nathan Baird, far left, Cleveland.com.
Then we talked to you a lot about the attributes that Sonny's had that have made him such a good fit at nickel. What can make him equally strong at Bandit if he's playing there for Lathan the rest of his way? And does he give you anything that Lathan didn't?
You know, Lathan had really gotten better. You know, he was getting better all the time. I feel terrible for him to be out right now, but Sonny, he's taller. I mean, you know, he has range. He has a lot of experience. You know, we were able to gain him that cover experience at the nickel position, covering a slot in the open field, which is a difficult thing to do, you know, as that translates into the boundary. I think he's just got a lot of versatility. Made some plays last game blitzing for us, right? So I think he can be a real factor in the blitz game also.
Secondary better set up to, as much as you'll miss Lathan, is it better set up to absorb a loss like this at this stage of the season than it was a year ago?
Oh yeah. Yeah. I mean, that's, you know, Lathan's a part of it. He's a part of us, but yeah, we're better set up. We have more versatility and more experience, and guys just understand the system so they can fit in different places.
Far left, Joe Nugent, WCMH.
What have you noticed about Minnesota's commitment to run the ball? What's the challenge of facing a team that just wants to pound away again?
Yeah, similar to Rutgers. They do a great job managing the drives, you know, and you know, taking it down all the way to what, 4th and short, right? I think they're the best 4th down conversion team in the country. You know, they stole that play from my Eagles. You know, they do that tush push thing, you know, but we got burnt on that fumble Ruski too under that. So you got to be careful. But yeah, I just think they do a good job of managing the game, controlling the ball, taking the play clock down. So we have to stay efficient, stay ahead of the sticks.
Third, fourth row, far right, Andy Backstrom, Letterman row.
Jim, it looked like Jahad Carter was back on the field defensively with Lathan out right now. I know Sonny's there, but does it help to have the depth of Jahad too?
Yes, because Sonny's is going to have to do more things as we move forward here. So it's not going to be as simple as saying, "Okay, Sonny, you're back there, and that's where you're going to be." There's going to be some moving parts. You know, Sonny's going to have to be in other places too, as we face different sets and personnel grouping. So we need Jahad.
Jeremy Birmingham, the podcast.
Jim, I don't want to put any one person on the spot, but are you as disappointed in Bill Landis as I am that whenever you talk about the Eagles, he doesn't say "Go Birds"?
Yeah, I didn't want to bring it up because I didn't want to call him out, but now that you brought it up, well, I know, but he doesn't. I don't get anything back.
now we've cleared that up. But Cody Simon obviously playing a lot in the middle on Saturday, not knowing what Tommy's situation is for this week. How comfortable are you with what you saw from Cody, not just against another run-heavy team like Minnesota, but potentially as Saturday was an audition really for the future?
Yeah, I'm very comfortable with Cody. Cody not only plays well, but he manages the game like Tommy does. You know, he's got that kind of brain and that kind of football intelligence. So we need them both. We need them both, you know, as we come down the stretch here. We need to have the ability to put them in different places.
Sorry about that.
Yeah.
Stephen Means, Cleveland.com.
When you guys put Malik out there earlier this year, it didn't necessarily go as well as it did this time around. Just when you watch him back on the film, what did you like about what Malik gave you? How more ready is he to be in that situation in that moment if you need him?
Yeah, I thought he wasn't as wide-eyed as he was the first time. I mean, you know, that's tough for a true freshman, particularly at a safety position. There are checks involved. There are formations. There are a variety of, there are all kind of things that can happen. So, yeah, I thought he, you know, had his emotions under control. And, you know, he's a guy that we've seen from the beginning in practice. Like, he always is around the ball. You know, he's one of those guys in practice. If you want to see people coming up with interceptions in practice, you know that famous coaching thing that I'm sure you guys and men and women have done it with your kids. Catch the ball, you know what I mean? Like that's a coaching thing, right? Catch the ball, you know. But he's one of those guys. Like there's certain guys, Malik has it, you know, where he's just always around the ball in practice, and he catches the ball, you know. So to see him now transition to actually playing the game, you know, in all aspects and being able to manage it from the safety position, that's good for him and good for us.
Dan Hope, 11 Warriors.
It seems like Ty Hamilton has taken a step forward these last couple weeks in terms of making more game-changing plays. Have you seen anything different from him here recently?
I haven't seen anything different. And I've been trying to say it all along. You know, I guess maybe Tyleek gets a lot of the attention and deservedly so. But I've been saying it all year long. Our defensive tackles have been making more plays in the running game that makes your defense better. It makes your defense better. You know, it's one thing for your defensive tackles to use up blocks and use up gaps. It's another thing when they're actually making tackles. So Ty's doing that too.
Austin Ward, the podcast.
Jim, when you guys have a conversation with Tommy and tell him that he's not going to play a game, is he more talkative or did he just say, yeah, okay? Did he fight for it?
Yeah, Tommy fights all the time. He fights all the time. He fought to play, you know. He could have played. But we felt it was his best interest and our best interest that he, you know, takes his time getting back from this injury. Yeah, so he probably had some extra grunts, you know, last week because he couldn't play. Than his normal single grunts, he probably went to 2 or 3 grunts.
Bill Rabinowitz, Columbus Dispatch.
I'll follow that up. In certain statistical categories, turnovers, sacks, kind of the flashy ones. You guys are, you know, towards the bottom of the list. But what matters is the success you've had. I'm just saying it seems like such a change in what your reputation would suggest. And you talked about this a few weeks ago, but how much of that is we've got talent and I don't have to kind of do that stuff because I can just let these guys put them in a position and let them play. Right.
Yeah, I think, you know, we've, like you said, I have adapted to the talent, the situation, the program, doing what's in the best interest of the defense, the team, to win games and, you know, to produce a top 5 defense. You said it from the beginning. You know, you're at the Ohio State, you should have a top 5 defense. So what's a top 5 defense? Is it top 5 in those categories? Because I've been there. I've been top 5 in those categories, but I don't think we were very good. I don't know how good we were, but it was like you said, flashy. And I just feel like it is what it is. And we need to keep working on those things that are working for us, to put it easy, and avoid the temptation to try to go after the flashy play and maybe expose yourself somewhere else.
How much of that is geared toward Michigan and then what happened last year and saying, okay, we're going to make sure we don't have those kind of breakdowns. We're going to, not that it's a 1-game season, but you're gearing toward that all year.
Gearing towards the matchup games, right? Coach Day always calls them the matchup games. And we've had a couple already, right? So gearing towards the matchup games where we were not successful last year, and mainly because of explosive plays. So, through a lot of study and a lot of planning, I think you're seeing the benefits of that now.
Far left, Steve Hellwagon, 24/7 Sports.
Yeah, Coach, last week you talked a little bit about Rutgers and how they were able to run the ball effectively. Michigan State came out of the gate. I think they had a 20 and 11 and a 27 there in the first 2 series. But after that, you guys made some type of adjustment, physical, X and O's, whatever it may have been. Just if you can talk a little bit about how important that is, identifying that early in the game and making those changes, I guess, to get those stops.
Yeah, I didn't like that we gave those plays up early. I know which ones you're talking about. I like to say, yes, I always tell the players all their mistakes are on me on game day. So it was my fault. I just started making better calls. But I mean, the adjustments in the college game are everything because things change so much week to week, and a variety of offenses that you see and things. And then you may spend time in practice on one thing and they do something else, or, they're studying you while you're studying them. So early on, maybe they have seen a couple things that you need to fix. So the fact that we can make those adjustments successful on the field happen in real time, that's a big deal. I think it's really a key part of any success we've had.
Are you confident in the physicality of this front 7, for lack of a better term, just front 6.5, however you want to put it, that when you get to these matchup games, which even this week, I mean, there's going to be a time where you're going to have to match up with them physically as well. But are you confident in that going forward? That's going to be there to contain what the other team's going to bring.
Yes. Next question.
What makes you so confident in that? I guess?
You
got a body of work.
Right. You have players that are hungry. You have players that, all this in college football at the highest level, it just goes so much back to what you've done from February onward and what Coach Mick has done and all the strength coaches have done in the weight room. It's real in college football because we're still in the developmental process. So you see the off season, you see the way the guys compete, and then you put it on film and you believe.
Tony Girdman, Buckeye Auto.
Jim, with the idea that you have to be playing your best ball in November, is your defense doing that right now?
I'd say so. We gave up, I think it was 2 explosive plays last game. So I would say yes, but you have to keep getting better. I mean, that's the thing again about football. I mean, it's got to always be going like this. You can't say, oh, okay, we're playing our best in November, so let's just stay at our best, because it's always like if you're not moving forward, you're moving backward.
Pat Murphy, 24/7 Sports.
Jim, you talked about Cody stepping in physically for Tommy, but who handles all of the things Tommy brings that you've talked about this year when he's not on the field?
Cody. I mean, he's they have very similar football intelligence. Cody has paid attention from the time I've arrived here and asked questions all the time. Actually speaks where Tommy grunts. I had to deal with Cody conversation. But yeah, he's got the same kind of mind, the same football vision.
Dylan Davis, Delaware Gazette.
On Saturday, Ryan mentioned Calvin Simpson Hunt as the guy who flashed in the second half of that game. I guess what have you seen from his development in this first year?
He's focused, right? Not a big talker, really, good personality, but positive and a focused kid. You can coach him. He doesn't get down when he makes a bad play in practice. He's got a positive attitude, and he's fast. He's really, really fast, and that helps.
Deep left, Caleb Spinner, Buckeyes Now on Sports Illustrated.
Coach, I asked the same thing to Ryan Day just a little bit ago, but obviously it's not the primary objective on Saturday, getting the win is, but senior day is certainly a big part of this weekend against Minnesota. What have your fourth, fifth graduate year seniors meant to your defense?
Yeah, they mean everything, particularly when you come in as a new coach, right? I mean, it's the older guys, the veterans that if they buy into what you're saying, then you have a real chance, to get the things implemented that you need to do. So these guys have been great to me, and I have not been the easiest person to deal with, but they've been really responsive, really coachable, interested in learning, and we'll miss them.
Joey Kaufman, Columbus Dispatch.
Jim, you talked about Tommy's personality as grunts. He's obviously not a guy, man, a few words. What effect, now that this is second year with having your middle linebacker with that kind of personality, how has it shaped just the whole defensive guy?
Yeah, I think it's a good point, right? I think we've become, in a large way, we've become really businesslike, really accountable, really focused, like not a lot of, not a lot of debate, kind of like, here are the facts, here's what's happening, how do we fix it? Let's go out and kick ass, because that's how Tommy is, and you're right. It has had a big effect on everything.
Is that your ideal scenario? Is it just the way Tommy is?
I don't know. Sometimes if you have an ideal scenario as a coach, you end up trying to push the squad one way or another. I think you see what's there, and you just want leadership. You want leadership, and his happens to be a certain way, and people have bought into that. They respect him, and that's just kind of how our personality has become.
Cameron T. Robinson, The Athletic.
Jim, obviously, when defenses prepare for a Huskers offense, the goal is contain Marvin. But from your perspective, I'm just curious if you can put in context how difficult it is to slow down someone like that. He not only has skill, but it's moved around and used creatively like Ryan Day used.
Yeah, coaching the offense, and that Kyle Marvin, Prep Pride, by the way. Okay, that whole thing is difficult to handle for me in practice. I remember one time in practice, we had a bracket on him, two guys, and he went through both of them and just caught the ball. And I was like, how can that happen? We got two guys on him. Well, that's smart. He just went over both of them and caught him. So I think it's extremely challenging for a defense. And then the creativity that coach has and all those guys do a great job of utilizing that. And there are other players on our offense that are really good. I just think it's a difficult challenge for a defense.
It may show. I'm free.
Oh, thank you very much, Jerry. You guys are number one in the nation right now in pass efficiency defense. You're number two in against the score, and number 4 in total defense. What does that mean to you at all? Which of those are you more proud, or do you even take stock in that at the moment?
No, I don't take any stock in. Well, it beats not being that.
Yeah.
Right. It beats not being that. But I'd rather have that all be the way at the end of the season, right? That's when you look at statistics. But just now we're just focused on what's happening in the game. How do we get better? What do we need to do to stop them? And I always try to tell them that defense, stats, whatever, doesn't matter. Defense is a right now proposition. Either you stop them or you don't stop them. So it's you can't punt on defense. You guys have heard me make that joke before. I've been in plenty of times in my career where I'd say, hey, we don't want to play anymore. Can we punt the ball? Get out of here. So really it's stats. It doesn't matter. It's like, did you stop them or not? What have you done for me lately? That Wall Street saying, it's like, what have you done for me lately? That's defense. It's like, what have you done for me lately? I do think stop rate's important. Where are we at in stop rate? Does anybody know where we're at in stop rate? Yeah, I asked. What am I doing? See, you guys bait me into this stuff, Tim. You bait me into. But no. So I like.
Wherever you're talking about, coming out,
Yes.
Coming out of January.
Yes.
We're
Yes.
A, B, C, and D.
Yes. I think it's just good that we're doing well. It's good that we're doing well. But stop rate. When you go back and look at the end of the year, stop rate is one of them that I look at because I don't think many people understand that. But because I've been times where we've been the best sack. We sacks, third downs, we're the best in the country, but it's like the stop rate, I believe, Bill will probably tell me, boils down to like, did you stop them or not? Like, nothing else matters. It's like, did you stop them or not? And that is the ultimate of what defense is.
Do you ever address a team like coming out of Saturday or last week or whatever that, hey, you're going to face better quarterbacks. I mean, it's not putting people down, but you understand what I'm saying? You're going to face better quarterbacks down the road, basically. Do y'all talk about stuff like that?
We just talk about, we talk about where we want to be at the end of the year, and how we want to keep getting better. I think sometimes if you could say we're going to face better quarterbacks, but that was the only quarterback we were playing on that day, so how did we do? We can never get carried away with ourselves. We have to be really specific about demands, expectations, the results that come off of it. Who are we playing? What did we do? What did we do well? How can we get better?
I want to quickly, Cody and Steele are out there. Who's the next linebacker in your mind in that run? I mean,
CJ. Yeah.
Yeah.
CJ he made a nice play last week. Really, shot the gap, did a great job. Yeah. So, CJ's always right there, and he's learning and growing, and he's a great kid, but he's talented, and Gabe's been involved too. Gabe's been involved. Gabe was up and ready to go. With Tommy being down, he had to be up and ready to go. When you coach, really, it's like you have to think one play, like who's one play away from going in there, and that's because that's reality.
And final questions, Bill Landis, the podcast.
Go Birds.
Yes.
So the point of stop rate, I'm just wondering how annoying, or maybe another word it might be, that the only thing between you guys and a shutout is a college kicker hitting a 50-something yard field goal.
Yeah, I mean, hats off to him, I guess. I didn't even know how long it was. It looked long, and it looked like it like barely trickled in too. But hats off to him, you know. And those are like I like to call luxury problems, you know, luxury problems. It's, you know, it is what it is.
Great, Coach. Thank you very much. Thanks.